Have you ever considered this? Your dog knows a version of you that nobody else knows, not your friends, not your family, not even the people you spend every day with. Because your dog has been watching something most humans never pay attention to. The small moments. The unguarded moments. The moments when you think nobody is looking. And years ago, your dog quietly reached a conclusion they have been carrying ever since. Most owners believe their dog loves them because they provide food, because they go for walks together, because they spend time together. But canine behavior tells a different story, because dogs do not simply bond with humans, they study them. And over thousands of ordinary days, your dog builds an understanding of exactly who you are. Not who you pretend to be, who you really are. The remarkable part, they may have figured it out long before you realized they were watching. And by the time we reach number 4, you may discover your dog noticed something about you years ago that changed your relationship forever. 1. Your dog decided. If you were safe, every dog enters the world with one important question. Who can I trust? Not who feeds me, not who owns me, who makes me feel safe. Behavior researchers have found that dogs constantly evaluate their environment for signs of security, and one of the biggest parts of that environment is you. Think back to your dog's earliest days with you, the first loud thunderstorm, the first strange visitor, the first unfamiliar place. Your dog was nervous, confused, unsure, and during those moments, they were watching your reactions. Not listening to your words, watching you. Did you remain calm? Did you become frustrated? Did you offer reassurance or uncertainty? Most owners never realize these moments matter. But to your dog, they mattered more than almost anything, because every reaction gave them information. Every experience answered the same question. What happens when life becomes difficult around this person? And eventually your dog reached an answer that would shape everything that followed. But safety was only the beginning. Because once your dog felt safe around you, they started paying attention to something much deeper. 2. Your dog learned. Whether your actions match your words, humans speak constantly. Dogs don't, which means dogs judge people differently. They pay attention to behavior, patterns, consistency. Researchers studying canine cognition often point out that dogs become experts at predicting human actions, not because they understand language, because they recognize routines, and routines reveal character. Your dog notices whether you keep promises. Not the promises you make with words, the promises you make with actions. Do you always return home? Do you follow the same bedtime routine? Do you show up every morning? At first, these seem like small things, but over time, they become powerful signals, because reliability creates trust, and trust creates attachment. Eventually, your dog stopped wondering whether you would come back, stopped wondering whether you would be there tomorrow, stopped wondering whether they could depend on you. Those things became facts, and when something becomes a fact inside a dog's mind, their behavior starts changing. Which brings us to something your dog understands better than most people realize. Your dog learned what kind of heart you have. This is where things become fascinating, because dogs pay attention to how we treat the world around us. Studies have suggested that dogs can evaluate human behavior and often prefer people who act in helpful and cooperative ways. Think about that. Your dog is not only watching how you treat them, they are watching how you treat others. The tone of your voice, the patience you show, the frustration you show, the kindness you show. You may think those moments pass unnoticed. They do not. Dogs are emotional observers, and over time they begin connecting those observations together, like pieces of a puzzle, until an image starts forming, an image of you, the real you. But there is one moment that reveals more than any other. A moment that most owners never even notice, and it may be the exact moment your dog decided who you really were. 4. Your dog watched you. During one of your worst days, most people assume dogs know us best during happy moments, the walks, the games, the cuddles, the excitement. But strong opinions are rarely formed during easy days. They are formed during difficult ones. Imagine a stressful day, a day when you felt exhausted, overwhelmed, frustrated, distracted. Your dog was there, watching, and what they saw mattered, because bad days reveal things good days hide. Did you remain gentle? Did you stay patient? Did you still make time for them? Or did stress completely change who you were? Dogs notice these differences, and the strange thing is, many owners remember nothing about those days. Yet those moments may have been the moments that mattered most to their dog. Because when life became difficult, your dog learned something important. Not about the situation, about you, and what they learned may have shaped every year that followed. Stay with me, because the next realization changes everything. Your dog learned. Whether you make them feel important. Every relationship is built on attention, not constant attention. Meaningful attention. And dogs understand the difference better than most people think. A food bowl can be filled in seconds, a leash can be clipped on in seconds. But making a dog feel seen is something else entirely. Researchers have found that dogs are highly responsive to social engagement from humans. Eye contact, gentle touch, shared moments. Small interactions that communicate something powerful. You matter. Think about the moments when your dog approaches you for no obvious reason. No toy, no food, no need, just presence. Many owners assume the dog wants something. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they are checking something much deeper. Are we still connected? And every time you respond with patience, every time you acknowledge them, every time you pause for a few seconds and make them feel noticed, your dog learns another lesson about who you are. Because from their perspective, attention is never just attention, it is information. It tells them where they stand in your world, and after years of receiving that information, your dog forms a belief. Not about what you provide, about how much they matter to you. But perhaps the strongest judgment your dog ever made came from something completely unexpected, something that happened when they were vulnerable. Your dog learned who you are when they needed help. Trust is easy when everything is going well. The real test comes when something feels wrong. Behavior specialists often point out that vulnerability reveals the strength of social bonds, and dogs experience vulnerability more often than people realize. A frightening noise, an injury, a visit to the veterinarian, a confusing environment, a stressful experience. During those moments, many dogs instinctively seek out someone they trust, someone who makes uncertainty feel smaller. Think about a time when your dog was nervous. What did they do? Did they move closer? Look toward you, stay near you. Those behaviors are not random. They are decisions. Your dog was deciding where safety existed, and every time you remained calm, every time you protected instead of ignored, every time you stayed present instead of impatient, your dog gathered more evidence. Evidence about your character. Evidence about your reliability. Evidence about who you become when they need you most. And eventually something remarkable happened. Your dog stopped hoping you would help. They started expecting it. That expectation is one of the deepest forms of trust an animal can develop. But there is one final piece of this story, and it explains why your dog's opinion of you has remained so strong for so many years. Your dog built a picture of you, one day at a time. Most life-changing decisions feel dramatic. This one wasn't. There was no single moment, no announcement, no obvious sign. Your dog did not wake up one morning and suddenly decide who you were. The picture formed slowly, one ordinary day after another. The mornings you got out of bed and greeted them, the evenings you returned home. The times you were patient, the times you were kind, the times you were tired but still showed up, the times you kept your routines, the times you made them feel safe. Each moment was tiny, almost forgettable, but together they created something powerful, a reputation. And unlike humans, dogs do not care about status, they do not care about achievements, they do not care about appearances, they care about experience. What repeatedly happens around this person? How does this person make me feel? Can I depend on them? Can I relax around them? Can I trust them? Over thousands of interactions, your dog answered those questions, and eventually, those answers became their definition of you, which leads to a realization most owners never think about. Your dog knows a version of you that nobody else knows. They have seen your routines, your habits, your moods, your strengths, your weaknesses. They have watched you when you were happy. They have watched you when you were exhausted. They have watched you when life was easy and when life was difficult. And after all those years of observation, your dog quietly reached a conclusion. This is who this human truly is. That is why your dog follows you into another room. That is why they glance toward you when something feels uncertain. That is why they settle nearby when they could be anywhere else. That is why your presence changes the way they feel. You are not seeing random habits. You are seeing the result of a judgment your dog made long ago, a judgment built from thousands of small moments. And perhaps the most beautiful part is this. Your dog did not decide who you were because you were perfect. No human is. They decided because of what you consistently showed them, again and again and again. So the next time your dog looks at you with those familiar eyes, remember something. They are not looking at the person you hope to be. They are not looking at the person other people think you are. They are looking at the person they have spent years getting to know. The person they quietly studied. The person they learned to trust. The person they decided on long ago. And if your dog has chosen to stay close after all these years, that may be one of the strongest compliments you will ever receive. If this video made you see your relationship with your dog differently, tell us in the comments. What do you think your dog has learned about you over the years? Because whether we realize it or not, our dogs have been reading us their entire lives. And sometimes they understand us better than we understand ourselves.